Welcome back to the Ridgeline Hunting Podcast, brought to you by Phelps Game Calls, with your hosts, David Crane and David Sandana.
Hey everybody, if you are looking for a game call that is elk, turkey, deer, predator calls, waterfowl calls, we highly recommend PhelpsGameCalls.com. Professional grade game calls made for every hunter. That's right. We are back, and I have a guest, Miikey P. He's back in studio.
Back again.
And we're actually going to be talking about the duck camp.
Oh, yeah.
So Mike actually went with me on our very first trip to the duck camp in Stanwood, Washington.
Is that what they call it, the duck camp? Or like the duck lodge?
No, the duck camp. So when we're there, they called it the lodge. While
lodge. When
we're going back to the lodge.
Yeah. So I'm like, is it duck camp or duck lodge?
So Mike came with me. Dave's daughter does dance competitions, and he wasn't able to make it. And the first person I thought of was like, man, Mike would love to go. Yeah. And Mike's not a duck hunter. He didn't have his duck stamp. He didn't have any of that stuff. So I was like, hey, man, would you like to come?
Well, it was sort of last minute.
Oh, it was way last minute. It was like 4 days before the weekend that we were going.
Yeah, you were like rushing to get your stamp. And I was like, man, I'm just there to film.
Yeah.
I just didn't really do it.
So Mike came to film, which was really cool because he brought his drone. We had both of our cameras going. We had a whole bunch of just stuff going. He brought his road mics, which these things are awesome. If you're doing any type of filming, instead of using a setup similar to this one, I mean, you can. So I'm showing people my camera setup. So if you're actually listening to this on the podcast and want to see what it looks like, you can go to YouTube and check it out on Ridgeline Hunting. But this is the Canon camera that I've been using, but I've upgraded my camera and we're filming with it right now. So this is the Canon M50, and now I have the Canon R10, which is pretty good upgrade because this one was only filming in 4K 30 frames, but it wouldn't focus.
Yeah, the focusing on it was kind of
laggy.
Yeah, it was laggy and it was noisy.
If you weren't, so it's super noisy because I'm using an EF lens with like an adapter, and the EF lenses are, I mean, they're fairly old, but they have really good glass. But when it was trying to focus, and even doing manual focus, it still was just extremely hard to like really navigate the 4K with this camera. So we have upgraded the camera.
Upgraded to a mirrorless camera, which means
this one's mirrorless too. But
the EF lens is not a mirrorless lens, though.
No, it is not. That's why it was so noisy. Upgraded that. Actually, here's one of the lenses. This one is the RF 100 to 400. Can't wait to get this out in the field and capture some animals with it. That'd be pretty fun.
Zooming in on the bear fur.
Yeah, that's right. Seeing the flies on the butts. But yeah, so when we made it into duck camp, it was it was fairly late.
It was like, it was dark. That's our usual. Let's just face it, Dave. That's our usual MO, is arriving somewhere when it's dark 30 outside.
Yeah, and usually we're sitting up in the pitch black. That's just what we do.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was dark, but I mean, we're there at like 8 something. I mean, it wasn't like
it's like winter. Late. It's winter dark, not like late.
Yeah, not like usually when we go into like deep into somewhere, we're setting up camp at like
11.
Yeah, 11.
11:30.
In between 11 and 1 in the morning. It's our usual like setup time. But no, we headed in and we didn't really know what to expect. So we met the people at the duck camp. They were at the Washington Sportsman Show, and they were like directly in front of us. So the whole week that the Sportsman Show was going on, we were, conversating, having a good time, and they invited us out to the duck camp. And actually, Mike actually came to the Sportsman Show, got to hang out for a little bit, and yeah, so they invited us out, and yeah, we got there and we had no idea what to expect. So I actually didn't even know like what the accommodations were.
Yeah, all I heard was lodge, and I'm like, all right. It's like I'll bite. I'll go to it.
So Mike and I roll up, and there were clients there hanging out in the back back patio.
How many clients were there? Because I couldn't tell which were clients and which were like he invited out.
So you and I were really the only ones that were invited.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then so there was our guides, which was Scott and Brian.
Yeah.
And then the two gentlemen that were by the fire, those were guests. The guy that I was talking to in the kitchen for a long time with Scott. Yeah. He was a guest. His name was Dave, I believe. Yeah. I want to say he was a doctor or a lawyer or something. But he was there as a client. And then they have...
Because there must have been 6 clients.
Yeah, probably six
two
clients.
Guys and us 2. Because there's 10 of us deep on the first day.
Yeah. So and then the second day, we pretty much got to hang out just with the guides.
Yeah, and there was like 2 other dudes, right?
Yeah. So those guys weren't really clients. They were just... They came in. They were doing work on the lodge. Yeah. So there was a flood in the lodge, and they were fixing it.
Yeah, they're doing work. I think it was sort of kind of like a payment bonus.
Yeah, like a hey, you want to go on a guided duck hunt?
Yeah, since I don't think you had really any clients that day.
Yeah,
it was just us. So
yeah, and we were hunting snow geese. Never hunted waterfowl in my life.
Me either. I've seen it, but I haven't like physically been there to see it. Like I've watched videos and stuff, but I'm like I've never. It was something different.
So
like I didn't expect us to like just lay down in the fields of a farm and wait for them to fly above us.
Yeah.
Like my whole thing is when I think of like a fowl hunt, I played duck hunt back in the day. I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna sit out here, and if it is next to a pond, and they'll just fly out and just blast them. But this is like totally different.
Yeah, there was a lot of strategy to it. So I mean, our first day at the lodge, we wake up, buck crack of dawn, like usual on any type of hunt. That's just what you do.
Yeah.
The accommodations were freaking amazing.
Oh yeah, it was like freshly renovated.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was nice. Like there was new beds, new everything basically, and like the downstairs was pretty cool. Seeing all the duck stuff all over the place,
all the decor,
like the decor.
Yeah, they are actually expanding their renovation. So over this spring and summer, they're going to be expanding with more rooms and more showers, and then they're going to do accommodations for just the guides. So if you're a client, you're going to have a house basically to yourself, and then the guides are going to have their own accommodations off back towards the barn is what they're going to try to do.
But his tent was like pimped out.
So Scott, who was on the duck camp episode, actually, he has this like Alaskan guide tent, and it is seriously decked out. There's a huge queen bed in there. There's like goat fur, and I don't know, he has like furs and stuff all over the place. I mean, this bed has like a
yeah, it was like when you think of like a hunting lodge bed. Yeah, it's like when you think of a hunting lodge bed, and that's what he had.
Yeah, he had like hats hanging off of it,
and the freaking fire.
Yeah, he had a fireplace inside of it. Like, it was decked out. I was like, Scott, no wonder you don't want to be inside the house. And he was like, yeah, man. He was like, I got my own room back here, back in the back. It's good.
Yeah.
It was pretty funny because he showed us actually that night. I think it was that first night.
That first night.
Yeah. So going back into the morning, man, we get up, you can shower, you can, whatever your morning routine is, you can basically do it. You got coffee, there's breakfast, there's snacks that you can grab, which I ended up taking all Scott's snacks. And basically they have everything for you right there at the lodge, ready to go. And let's just say you don't own a shotgun. You don't have any gear. They will hook you up. Like, they kept on asking Mike if he wanted to come back out and just get his waterfowl license.
Yeah, the next weekend they were asking me.
Yeah, and they were just like, dude, we got you. Don't worry about it. We got you. And it was more or less, I think, maybe Mike might want to do waterfowl hunting next season.
Yeah, I kind of want to do, like, duck season.
Yeah, dude.
To see what that is about.
So let's just say, after the first day, even though Mike wasn't hunting, Mike was a fan of freaking waterfowl hunting.
Yeah, it was cool watching like thousands of birds fly around, and
it was so, oh dude, I'm getting goosebumps. It was so crazy. So when you're hunting snow geese, you don't understand how many birds are flying around, and they come in the thousands. It's not like they will come in the hundreds, but they come in the thousands. So like when they come up, at least in this area, off the water, it's just a giant white cloud in the air, and it's coming straight for you.
It's basically like a white locust swarm when they start taking off. They just start taking off and swirling around and just all moving in a big group.
Yeah, it was intense. There was plenty of opportunity to shoot. The first day was a little bit lackluster. I'm not going to say it was like the best hunt ever, but I was able to shoot a couple birds, so that was cool. Yeah. And just trying to figure them out too, and pattern them and all that stuff, and that's what the guides did. And I mean, we had birds coming in, they just weren't dropping down into our setup, which we helped set up.
Yeah.
So some of it was kind of set up the night before, which we didn't get there in time to help out with that. But in the morning, we got to set up probably a few thousand different decoys.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, a few thousand
walking through
mud
a farm.
Yeah, it's basically just rows of farmland that they're getting ready to plant.
Yeah, they're doing. I think they said it was potatoes.
That one might be, because it might be
potatoes.
It might be on that potato thing, because it's like every 3 years they can plant potatoes in that specific area.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
And then, so it's like getting ready for planting potatoes. It was really cool, and we learned a lot. Like, not only about hunting snow geese, but also just like what these farmers are doing. Yeah, and the lands that are the duck camp are leasing. Yeah,
they're basically helping out the farmers in between harvest time.
Yep, basically. And it's awesome because these geese and even some of the other waterfowl, they go in and basically just destroy the farms. That's just what happens. So, I mean, for us waterfowl hunters, that could be a good thing, only because now we're helping out the farmer to where we're kind of like managing these waterfowl to where they're not going to be taking as much crops.
Yeah, and snow geese aren't native.
No, and they absolutely destroy areas, because I mean, you can imagine 20,000 landing in one spot, and they all just basically mow down everything as they're moving, because they're just eating as they go. So it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, even though they kind of fertilize the farmland, they also destroy it more than they fertilize it. So.
Yeah, it's like a catch-22.
Yeah, it's one of those things.
But so the first day was fantastic. Mike and I got put to work. We did kind of like we got put to work, but we're also filming at the same time. So like I'd be like, "Hey, Mike, go ahead and take the drone out." It's break time.
I took like some break time.
Let's get the drone out. Let's get some filming in. Yeah. And I mean, we got to fly the drone, and we got to see like the
spread,
what the spread looked like. And then one of the birds that I shot ended up dive bombing into native land. So you're not allowed to step foot in this native land at all. And pretty much when that bird landed, it was getting pecked to death by eagles. But
yeah, there was like 4 eagles on it that I got with the drone.
Yeah, Mike flew the drone over and got to see these eagles just eating this goose, and it was kind of crappy watching my bird getting eaten.
It was cool, but for me filming it was cool.
There's nothing we could have done. It's tribal land. You are not allowed to step foot in the tribal land at all.
No, they had somebody like right there and be like,
yeah, they had like a tribal
the whole time.
They actually had a tribal cop on one side over by the levee.
Yeah.
He was making sure that we weren't stepping foot in this new tribal land because it was actually just purchased like a few weeks before we even started hunting. I can't remember who owned it before.
Dude by the barn over there. There was another one by the barn that was like straight ahead of us.
Yeah, off to our right.
Yeah, it was just eyeballing us.
Yeah, and then we had the guy on the levee too, which our guides are very good. They know their boundaries. They know where they can hunt, where they can't hunt. Because I even asked, like, hey, is there someone that we can call to retrieve this bird? And he was like, no, dude. He was like, the guy is right over there. He was like, yeah, he's right there. They don't want you on their land. So nothing we could do. But I was able to keep one of the birds that I shot. Because I think I only shot two birds the first day. I think maybe 3.
I wasn't sure. I wasn't really paying attention. I was just
because I think we only got I only think we got 5, and the 2 that were shot were like coming in kind of a ways, and the guys ended up clipping them before they landed. Yeah. But so after, let's say mid-morning, it's probably like 11:20 or something when we stopped. The limit,
it was like 11 or something.
The limit per shooter on snow geese is 20. We didn't get close to that. The birds were basically flying up over the top of us and landing maybe 1,000 or 2,000 yards back behind us. We did get a couple that came in, which was a lot of fun. But that's when the work really came into play, because we decided, or the guides decided, Scott and Brian were like, we are not hunting this tomorrow.
Yeah.
It was, it wasn't that great of a hunt. And for the people that were out there, it was a great time because we saw, 18,000 birds, 18,000 snow geese.
Yeah.
Just snow geese alone, were flying all over the place.
They're like flying in like on D-Day and shit. That was...
Oh, dude. I mean, some of them were kind of low to where we could shoot them. There were some up higher than that. There's some up higher than that. And then there's some in the freaking atmosphere, just layers upon layers of birds just flying all over the place. And it's hundreds of them. Not, like you look up and it's like, holy crap, like what the heck?
One thing that I thought was really cool was that when it first started, when they basically woke up and wanted to fly over. It was like seeing all the birds come from on the other side of the hills, it looked like, and they were just coming in.
Yeah, because
that was like really cool.
Well, so you're laying back, so they're like these long lawn chairs, and we're all decked out in white. We had white Tyvek.
Yeah, we're freaking snowmen.
We had our faces covered. Basically, all you could see is our eyelids and our eyeballs. It's like not even eyebrows, just the eyeballs, like straight up ninjas. And then we're surrounded by 3,000 decoys. And we just, you just pop up and start shooting them. So the one thing that I've learned that very, very first day, because one of our guys was actually shooting too, Scott, is when you see him, you need to be kind of looking kind of out of the corner of your eye. If you start to see him sit up, you better sit up, because he's already cracking off a shot while he says, fire or take him.
Yeah.
He's already got so when he said that, it was like, boom, and there was already a bird cartwheeling through the air, and I was like, oh, crap. I'm way behind trying to shoot at these birds. And that was like my one takeaway from the first day, so I learned that really quick. And I think Mike did too, because we were kind of looking at each other like, holy crap, dude, he's fast.
I was actually like laying next to him.
Yeah.
So
you saw how fast he was popping up. It was extremely funny and fun. And then, when we're done at like 11:20, we had 3,000 decoys to take down. Oh, my dog got in. Goose, get out. Out.
He wants to sit and join us.
Yeah, he might be hanging out for a minute. Goose. Out. Out. Good boy. Yep. Yeah. Big dog came in. But yeah, we got put to work at like 11:20. We're taking down 3,000 freaking decoys, and I'm not kidding. There's 3,000 of them.
Yeah, there's a lot.
And you learn real quick how much work gets put into a snow goose hunt.
Yeah, there's lots of morning or before hunt day prep that goes in. Even like on the first day, what did we do? We ate lunch,
mm-hmm.
and when we got back, we relaxed a little bit, I guess. For like it was 5 or so minutes.
It was not very much time. Like, seriously, dude, it seemed like 5 minutes. I don't think it was very long because Mike. What did we say? We were like, oh, let's take a nap, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh, hey, do you guys want to check out the duck shack? And we're like, yeah, why not?
Yeah, so
why not?
Yeah, we checked that out, and then we did some scouting of where they landed / fun on the way back.
Yeah, so we jumped in Scott's side by side, and basically, if you guys end up booking a trip at the duck camp in Stanwood, do not go in the back seat of Scott's. I'm just warning you now, because all you do is get blasted with mud.
Or just have mud clothes.
Yeah, make sure
wear a parka.
Yeah. Make sure that you are not wearing like any of the camo or anything. Make sure you have like a garbage bag on, because you're just gonna get blasted with mud. His wheels are so wide that the mud just kicks right into the back seats.
I think he says he has tractor wheels on it.
Yeah,
it gets better traction in the mud and everything.
Mm-hmm, for those fields that we go through.
Yeah.
So we actually went and scouted a whole nother field that they lease, and it's basically on both sides of the highway. They lease like all the land on both sides of the highway for like 12 miles or something like that. It's insane. Mm-hmm. And so we went to the duck shack, which is going to be getting renovated as well. It's right on the water. It's a really, really nice. Well, I can envision how nice it is. It's not very nice right now, but
it has aged.
Yeah. But you can see the potential. Like they have a really nice plan that they have for.
Oh yeah, it'll look cool
shack.
Once they're all done with it.
Yeah,
it'll be really cool.
Yeah, I can definitely see us having breakfast in there and a beer.
Yeah.
So,
or just like in the afternoon.
Yeah, the actual chill time.
Yeah, the chill time.
I'll probably end up doing some fishing though. But so we went and checked that out, and the field that we were scouting is like right next to the duck shack. It's like right next to it. And that's when Scott was like, okay, so there was probably like 15,000 birds in this field that he was like, we're setting up tonight in this field. We're going to go there.
Yeah.
So we get back. We actually unhooked the trailer before all that. We hooked the trailer back up. To then go take our new 2-minute break back at the lodge, and then we go and start setting up for the next day. And we put out all the 3,000 decoys. So not only do we take it down that day, now
what were the ones? We put out the full.
Oh, we didn't have
the socks.
We didn't have the
the flat ones.
Yeah, I can't remember what they called them, but they're just like flat.
The 2D ones.
Yeah, like I don't know what kind of board it is, but they just stick them in. It's basically just like a filler spot from something flying from far away. It looks like it's a bird until obviously you get over the top of it and it's like a sheet of paper.
Yeah.
We didn't set those up. Yeah, there's only a couple hundred of those only. We didn't set those ones up, but how we were setting it up though was completely different. How the setup was earlier in that day, we kind of had it spread out a little bit more. It was a little bit more like U-shaped.
Yeah, I think it looked better the second day for sure from just looking from the drone shots.
Yeah, it performed really well too. So after setting up all that, we finally go to sleep, or we have dinner. We hang out, shooting the shiz with the guys and everything, because now it's like a smaller party. Now there's just a few guys now.
Yeah, well, it was just us four.
It was you and me, Scott and Brian, and then those other two guys came in for like a minute, and then they left because they're local.
Yeah, they're local, so we went.
Yeah, we hung out more with the two guides, Scott and Brian, who are just awesome guys. Dr. Brian and Scott, and yeah, we had a good night. I was having a hard time sleeping. I was excited. New hunt for me. Never waterfowl hunted. I was just excited of like what the next day was going to bring. So I barely slept.
I didn't. I slept like a lot.
Mike was out, and I was actually cracking up because he was snoring, and he doesn't usually snore. So I know he was like just dead tired, and I was like, "Hey, Mike," and he was like, "Huh." It's like, "You're snoring," and he started laughing, and he's sleeping though, and he started laughing. He's like, "Oh, my bad," and just like fell back to sleep, and I started cracking up. I wish I would have filmed that. That would have been like the funniest thing ever. Yeah. But the next morning, man, definitely Mike and I took more snacks, because that was like the one thing. Like, I was dying after the morning. Yeah, like the first day.
Pop-Tarts. I took like 3 or 4 Pop-Tarts. I had them all like all over my coat and stuff. That's in every pocket.
Yeah, and then the next day, man, we went out, kind of changed our tactics a little bit, and really started slamming birds, man. We had a good time. It was crazy to never be a waterfowl hunter, and to actually come out of that weekend, like thinking in my head, I may never miss another waterfowl season ever in my life.
Yeah, I want to try like all the different types, because we just did snow geese.
Yep, and it's basically right after our archery season.
Yeah, I want to do ducks.
It's right. Well, so for the seasons here in Washington State, now I'm fairly new at this, so if someone fact checks me, cool, because I don't really know all the dates. But I know that there's, I believe, a duck season in the very beginning of September. It's only for like a weekend or something like that, which is our first weekend of deer archery season. Yeah. So we might miss that one. Might.
If we do it.
If
we're thinking about doing some rifles through this season.
That's right. That's why I got that big old lens. Yeah. So we might be heading out with Scott and Dr. Brian. If anything, we might just film it. We might just have a good time filming. Who knows? Maybe I'll be under the camera and Mike will be shooting. Yeah. Maybe we'll set that up.
Maybe we could.
Yeah. So there's that, and then basically right after September goes right into waterfowl in October, and it pretty much goes through the whole year. And I mean, the snow goose season ended in the end of January.
Yeah, well, like regular duck ends in like what, December or something.
I don't know. I don't know exactly. Yeah. It might even be like those first couple weeks in January, and then it's done. I actually don't know. Like I said, you can look it up if you want.
When we went out there, he said we could only do
snow goose.
Yeah, the snow one.
Yeah, and that was it.
Yeah, because the duck was over.
Yeah. Yep. And we had mallards and all this stuff like all over the place. There's so many different things. Seriously, if you've ever thought about doing waterfowl hunting, go and check out the duck camp in Stanwood. The website is theduckcamp.net.
Yeah, I think it's a .net one.
Yeah, it's the duckcamp.net. Get yourself booked. They're taking bookings now for 24 and 25. Book your hunt because you'll have a fantastic time. There's nothing else I can say.
One of the funny things I came away from the second day was like the geese weren't moved. They went to another field, but they leased the other field. So they're, well, he just said, I'm just going to go scare them. So he got on the quad and went over there. And we knew when he got to him because they just
all of a sudden there was just a giant cloud of snow geese. And we're like, oh, Scott must be over there. And all of a sudden it's just like, Phew.
The funny thing is, though, after everything was over us and went into a field behind us, he comes back. He didn't bring his shotgun.
Yeah.
But he comes back with 2 of them. And we're like, how'd you do those? You didn't bring your shotgun over there. How'd you get them? And he basically GTA'd them. He ran him over. Basically, the problem is,
I don't know if he ran him over or if they dive bombed into the quad.
But he said that they were like probably injured from another getting shot before or something because they weren't taking off as fast as the other one. So he basically got GTA'd 2 birds. That was the funny moment because he just comes back with them. I was cracking up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when he
they don't say how you have to kill them. They just said 20 a day.
To be honest, I think they flew into his quad because there was so many of those birds. It was probably like they were like, oh, boom, because he was going. I could see him because I had my brand new Mavens. I upgraded 12x50s. I brought them just to like. Because I hadn't had him out, so I brought him. He was driving along the side of them. So I think when those birds were starting to take off, those 2 wounded ones went right into his freaking quad. I mean, what do?
You take him home. That's what you do.
Yeah. But yeah, I was just like, well, that's cool, because I mean, just a huge wave of freaking birds are coming over. And we ended up taking like 6 of them. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, we had to walk out a distance for a couple of them, but
yeah, I did. If you guys are listening to this or watching on YouTube, it's actually on YouTube Shorts. You can see I did video a couple of those of Mike and I walking out there and collecting some birds.
Yeah.
So when you're waterfowl hunting, sometimes if you don't, as I say, cartwheel them, you might hit them in the wing, or they're dying. But they still just glide and then basically nosedive into the ground. And sometimes they could be a ways out there. So there was a couple of the birds that we went and retrieved, and we had a walk.
Yeah,
and it
was in the mushy ground.
Yeah, I would say one takeaway from waterfowl hunting: get yourself a good pair of boots.
Oh yeah. So I just had rubber boots and my feet were freezing. I couldn't feel my toes.
Like we said at the very beginning of the podcast, though, we had like 3 or 4 days to try to get everything. I don't even have myself a pair of water boots. Luckily, my wife was able to go and pick me up a pair Friday before we left.
Yeah,
and I was lucky.
I borrowed some from my buddy.
If not, I would have had my Crispies. And those would have been waterlogged, nasty, soggy things. Well, to be honest, they have extra boots at the duck camp too.
Yeah,
depending on size.
Like after everything, he's like, "Oh, I got a couple pairs of those." I'm like, "Man,
nice insulated ones." Like the whole time, like Mike's like, "Dude, my feet are freezing." I'm like, "My feet are nice and cozy."
Yeah.
But I mean, feet and hands were pretty much the only things that really got cold. If you have yourself a good set of gear, like Mike and I did, we had our Kuiu gear on. I actually had an extra puffy that I let Mike use.
Oh, another thing for that, if you don't have a puffy, or if you have like any heated gear, take that.
Yeah, you need it.
That'd be nice having a heated vest or something on, just sitting there, because you got the Tyvek suit on, so you don't have to worry about it being camo or not. It could be like something.
It could be off the wall. It doesn't need to be camouflage. It could be whatever you want. You could wear your snowboard gear underneath your Tyvek suit, or any type of ski gear or whatever.
Yeah,
that's going to keep you warm. Just because, I mean, that time of the year, that's like right in the midst of our winter season. Like, that's when temps are low. I mean, it could have snowed on us anytime.
Yeah, we got rained on.
Yeah, we did get rained on. It was just out of the snow zone.
Yeah.
It wasn't that cold. And the rain wasn't cold. It wasn't a cold rain.
No, I would say it's more of the wind.
Yeah, the wind was gnarly. I wish I would have brought my actual rain gear more or less for a wind cutter, because the wind's not going to get in rain gear. That's the one thing I wish I would have taken. That would have been nice. That would have been really good.
That would have been really nice.
So takeaways from that: get yourself a good pair of boots. If you have puffies, bring those, or if you have some type of heated, battery operated whatever, bring it.
Yeah.
Because it will just...
That's what I'm going to be doing next time, is to bring my heated vest.
Yeah.
That'll be nice and toasty.
That'll be nice.
Because then you're like, with the heated stuff, because your hands will kind of get cold if you don't have like the right gloves.
Mm-hmm. Or, I mean, bring those little...
hand warmers.
Hot hands or whatever. Yeah, you can bring those. Or if you
can just put them in like your pockets and heat them back up and then take them back out when you're about to, when the birds start coming in.
Yep. That, and don't be afraid to use a pump shotgun. If that's what you have, use it. You don't need an auto load. There's plenty of guys out there that use pumps. I did. I was blasting birds. So I was like, man, I really want to get an auto load. You know what? Don't really need it.
I don't think you really need it, because like in Washington, you only can hold 3 anyway.
Yeah, so which is weird for a hunt like this one, when it's a 20 bird limit. Like, you should be able to take whatever plug that's in there and just load that thing up.
Yeah.
But it's a 3-shot limit, so it is what it is. And it's more or less for like fair chase. You
just gotta get that pump of muscles.
Yeah, get the pump down.
You gotta pump with authority. That's it.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. And so like the last day, it was nice. Number one, the last day we didn't have to take anything down because we were keeping it up for the next weekend.
Yeah, I couldn't make the next weekend, but
yeah, Mike had prior plans. And Scott was asking, man, he was really excited that you've never done that before. And then I was telling him, like, dude, Mike was fired up, dude. I was like, if he could have hunted, he would have. And he was like, dude, we got to get him out. We got to get, Scott now, man. Like, he's the fired up guy, and he's all about just getting more people to doing waterfowl hunting and doing something that he loves too. Like, for me, when you and I were working together, I don't know how many times I said that, dude, you should try hunting. Dude, you should try this. Dude, you should try that. And then, slowly it starts burning on you.
It started on archery.
Mm-hmm.
Do archery. Then do archery. You got to get your hunting license. So I went all the way down.
Yep. And now Mike is wanting to purchase a rifle to do rifle hunting, which, you do have a rifle, but it's not really calibered for large game.
Oh, yeah. Not in Washington.
Yeah. So he wants to do that. And then now, he's really looking into doing some waterfowl hunting. And it's just a lot of fun. And when you're hunting or just being outdoors, it unlocks all this other stuff that people just miss out on, and they don't realize that they're missing it until they do it. And they're like, man, I could have been doing this this whole time.
One of the main ones I found of starting hunting and going out is how much I like camping. Because I camped before, and then now it's just easier because you're out doing something else, but you're like, well, I got to camp too, so you're doing 2 things at once.
Yeah. And actually, Mike's going camping next weekend.
Yep.
I wish I could go, but I'm working.
That sucks.
Yeah, dude. I volunteered for that weekend.
You got to make that vacation money.
Damn right, boy. No, actually, we are going to be trying to bring out a line of hats. If you can see my hat right now, it's a Ridgeline Hunting hat. It will not be a style like this one here. This is one of a kind, one of one. But we are going to be bringing out some hats, and I need to recoup some funds.
Yeah.
So I need that OT.
Yeah.
So be looking out for that. Check us out on Instagram or on Facebook. We'll let you know where you can find the hats. It might just be strictly through me because we don't have a website or anything set up quite yet, but we are trying to do that, trying to move forward and really growing the brand for Ridgeline Hunting and also the Ridgeline Hunting podcast. So we're doing the dang thing, man. We're trying to grow and get the name out there, bring on more sponsors. So if you're want to be a part of this too, well, we would love to have you email us at the Ridgeline Hunting podcast at gmail.com if you're interested in sponsoring us. Yeah. Just trying to grow, man. Just trying to get it out there. Yep. With the YouTube and everything too. We are 5 subscribers away from 800 subscribers on YouTube, which is a pretty big deal. I mean, we're just a small group of dudes out hunting here in Washington State. And yeah, man, it's a slow burn.
Yeah.
But I mean, all it takes is a couple videos, and all of a sudden it could explode into something crazy. It's not the intention, but you just never know what's going to happen and how you move forward, right?
It'll just take that one video to pop people in.
We'll see, man. We'll see. But I mean, that's why we've upgraded some camera gear. Mike and I hunt quite a bit, and we're definitely going to be diving into more filming. Mike's got the drone. We have GoPros. I just got an Insta360, upgraded the camera, so now we can dive into a little bit more clearer film, even though this camera did pretty good, but 1080p is basically as high as it will run. The camera now will do 1080 at like 120 frames, so
get that slow motion.
Get some good slow motion, some more cinematic type stuff too as well. So you never know what the future brings, and we're just growing.
That's like right. A weed.
So Mike and Ian, who is on the podcast before this one, started their own podcast. Mike, you want to explain a little bit of the podcast and where people can listen to the new podcast?
Yeah, we're on Spotify, and it's called Caveman Theory. We basically just talk about anything that interests us, and it could be anything.
You're not getting any caveman stuff.
Yeah.
It's just
rants. Sometimes we have like some ideas later down the line of just doing like ancient weapons and stuff like that and kind of getting into it. But it's more on any subject that we think is interesting to us and might just throw out some laughs to some people.
Just sitting down, shooting the shiz. So if you want to just hear a couple of guys hanging out, having a good time, go ahead and check out Caveman Theory on Spotify. And then for our podcast, you can listen to us pretty much on any platform. And we're also on YouTube. We are filming. So if you're listening to this and want to watch a couple guys just hang out and shoot the shiz about the outdoors and hunting, find us on YouTube, Ridgeline Hunting. That is our YouTube channel. And we have some discount codes that I'm going to announce right now. But please, before I give out the discount codes, if you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. I did look at our analytics. 97% of the people that watch us on YouTube are not subscribers. 97%. That's a lot.
That's a lot.
So let's flip that thing upside down. Let's start subscribing. Hit the subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up. Hit the bell for notifications.
Yeah, and make a comment or anything because they...
Dude, yeah.
The algorithms like it.
Yeah, send us a comment.
For that engagement.
That's right. Comments are awesome. Well, and I'm fully engaged, so if you leave a comment, I'm going to respond. Me, David Crane, I will be responding to your comments. This isn't some robot that says, what's up, blah, blah, blah. It's actually me responding. So we want to, engage with the people that are watching and listening to our podcast. So leave a comment. I'll comment back. But the discount codes. So we now have a discount with Phelps Game Calls. So go to phelpsgamecalls.com. Use Ridgeline 10 for 10% off your Phelps Game Calls at checkout. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Been working on that one.
Yay.
And then we have another discount at Crazy Elk Company. Go and check them out. Get yourself a tag wallet. I believe that is like the best thing that you can have in your toolbox. Basically, once you tag an animal, or you can have your tags in the tag wallet. But once you tag an animal, go ahead and notch out your dates, put your tag in the tag wallet, and you can attach it to your animal with removable zip ties. So the zip ties, you can actually undo and reuse them, which is awesome. So go and check them out. Get yourself a tag wallet. Use Ridgeline 20 and get 20% off of anything you purchase. So, that's an awesome discount. And then we have Ghost Scream. Go and check them out at ghostscream.com.
Ghost Scream.
Yep. They have barbecue sauces, glazes, and jellies, whatever you want. And it's freaking amazing sauces. Go and check them out at ghostscream.com. Use GHOST20 for 20% off your purchase.
Sounds good.
All right, everybody. Thank you for listening. Remember, subscribe, leave a comment, give a thumbs up, hit the bell for notifications. If you're listening on a podcast, follow the podcast, please. And have a good night.